All right, once again, what's up, guys? Kareem, I'm with Keon Johnson.
Hey guys, what's up?
So he was nice enough to come over and, kind of have this podcast interview thing that I wanted to do with him. I'll tell you a little bit more about him and he's going to be able to, kind of introduce himself as well. But what we wanted to do is kind of keep it more organic and natural. We kind of discussed before this, but not as much as, other videos. So the conversation that we're going to have is going to be pretty much unscripted. There's going to be some noise pretty much coming on and out throughout the whole video because we're in downtown and there's going to be renovations pretty much anywhere and everywhere. We've got it recording on the iPad, so it shouldn't be as bad. And yeah, so I think we're just going to start off. Keon, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, it's my pleasure. I kind of found you on Instagram initially.
Yeah.
I think I found you even before you started real estate. I'm not too sure if I remember correctly, but you've been popping on my feed left and right. And sold, bought, rented. It's crazy stuff. And, when we discussed, you told me that you've only been in the business for 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So, man, I've got tons and tons of questions, man. Just the conversation that we had before this opened my mind to a lot of things that I wanted to know about you. And the main reason why I wanted to get you on is because I had the opportunity to talk with other agents in the past, but most of them have already been in the business for at least 5-10 years.
Exactly.
Some of them are owners of their team, some others are owner of their agencies.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see somebody that's successful, or at least that is gaining a lot of success off the bat, and kind of get your perspective on it, right?
Exactly.
So can you give us a little bit of an introduction about who you are, kind of why you got into real estate?
Yeah.
A little bit more about you, honestly. Anything you want to say.
Okay, perfect. I look at you or the camera?
You can look at me or look at the camera, whatever you like.
Your choice, bro. Okay, so basically, my name is Keon Johnson, 22 years old. 23, my bad. 23.
Did you recently turn 23?
I was up early, yeah.
Okay.
Well, in August. So
okay,
not that recent.
Not too bad.
Okay, 23 years old, guys. I worked at TD Bank before for 4 years. So from 18 to 22, I was working at TD Bank. And then after, I recently became a real estate agent. So it's something I've always wanted to do since I was young. Probably since I was like 8 years old, I would watch HGTV. If you guys don't know that, it's basically like a TV, not a show, but like a series where there's like people looking for houses, renovations, and I would ride my bike and I would go in my area to see all the new construction happening. And I just realized that I want to do real estate. So that's what I decided to do. And now this is where I am.
Guys, and just like to give you an idea, I've had the chance to talk with other agents. I think he's the only one I've met up until now that from the get-go, real estate was plan A. So you're kind of made for this, right?
Yeah, it was always the goal. Always the goal. Like I didn't want to be a doctor and then a real estate agent, or I didn't want to be a financial advisor then a real estate agent. I always knew that in the end, I wanted to finish off with doing real estate. And that's what I want to do. I went all out. I started real estate. I didn't have another job. I only had that. So if I didn't make any money, I would be broke. So, yeah.
So, and just off the bat, since you said that, I'm kind of curious. Do you think that your financial background in the bank has kind of, affected or influenced how you work right now in real estate? I mean, does it give you an advantage, you think?
It gives me a bit of an advantage just because, like, technically someone can tell me how much money they make with the amount of down payment that they want to put down. And right away, I'll be able to kind of estimate how much they'd actually be able to afford based on what the information they're telling me. As for like, in general, I feel like if I didn't have that knowledge, I would be like, okay, you want to do that, go get pre-approved. Now it's like, okay, you have this amount that you want to put down. This is how much you and your husband make. In my head, I'm like, okay, I know you can afford this amount. If they say, oh, I want to afford $400,000, but I know in my head that they can actually only afford $250,000, I won't tell them myself because I'm the agent. I'm supposed to make everyone happy, So I'll just basically say, okay, no problem. But in today's market, there's so much happening. There's a whole bunch of bidding wars that you have to get pre-approved before we start the search, because if we get into a property, you like the property, you want to make an offer, but you don't have a pre-approval, and then something happens and he doesn't get financed, that looks bad on your name, And at the same time, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your client's time, and you're also wasting the agent's time with their sellers as well. So it's just a whole domino effect that would all be solved basically just if they got their pre-approval at the beginning. You understand? So I think
I like how you kind of position it
exactly
so that you make the clients feel comfortable and
exactly
you still get you still get to where you need to get.
I get to where I need. I just give them the reason for why I need it, and I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, you actually can't get 400,000. It's actually this amount. It's going to be the financial advisor because that's his job. It's not my job to tell you how much you can afford. It's my job to find you what you can afford in your house, but not how much you can afford.
Definitely.
You see, so I just try to differentiate that, because if you get into that, then he'll probably feel insulted and he won't want to work with you.
Okay, cool. Now, you had mentioned one thing before we even started filming, guys. This is some crazy stuff, okay? Now, up until now, you've done a lot of transactions.
Yeah.
And definitely in terms of, how long you've been here. If you want to say how many transactions or not, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But the crazier thing, you would?
Yeah. I've done six transactions, I think. 7 transactions. I actually just got an accepted offer yesterday as well. And I have my first listing. It's a $1 million listing. It's my first listing. So yeah.
Okay. Congrats on that.
Thank you, bro.
This is not the average Joe, okay? This is pretty much an exception.
Yeah.
And what's even crazier than that is that you mentioned that you did all of that with zero prospecting.
Zero prospecting. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do prospecting though.
My guy, what are you
I just
saying?
got lucky. I got lucky. Honestly,
You got lucky. Basically, what's up?
The way I think of it is like, as I was growing up, like I said, real estate is always something I knew that I wanted to do, right? So from a young age, it sounds funny, but I kind of built my image from a young age. So from a young age, I would always tell my friends, I would always tell my family, I would always tell my friends' family that I want to do real estate.
You've been following up since you were 8.
I've been following it since I was 8. I'm telling you, bro, I literally had some people that were looking for houses, and I would go find it for them, and I'd send it to them and be like, show your agent this, and then go see it. I have like 3 friends that have done that, and they've bought that same house, and their parents are still living in that house that I found. Just because I liked doing it. I was like, I don't need to be paid. I want to do it.
That's pretty
Normally
impressive.
I do it for fun to go and look at houses, but I'm like, if I actually have a goal now, perfect. Now I have a reason to do it, and it makes them happy there, and I learned too, so it was good, right?
Most people, guys, first and foremost, that's awesome.
Yeah.
To hear that, I don't think I've ever met anybody else that kind of started off so young, building their database and following up, and you kind of gave value to tons of people, I imagine, before you actually started asking back for their business.
Exactly.
Which is not what most people do. Most people go on and get their license, and then they're just kind of waiting for clients to come to them with them having no experience or no knowledge of the market in any way.
Yeah.
Or they're out there prospecting, and that might take some time because you're kind of developing your skills as you're doing it, but you've kind of been developing your skills since you were 8.
I've been trying to, exactly. Like, I feel like you should always be around people, always help people, always seem positive. Like, if you ask anybody, oh, like, who's Keon? They're going to be like, oh, he's a super chill guy. He's always positive. Like, he knows where he's going in life. Like, just try to have a positive image on everybody, because then once you actually get into a career, for example, me, real estate, where I do need these people, my friends of families to refer me, they're going to remember, okay, when I needed this, Keon was there. When I needed this, he was there. He helped me. He did this. He didn't ask for money. He did this, like, I would have some times where I'd literally have like 7 people ask me to hang out in one day, and I say yes to everyone. And my girl would be like, how are you going to chill with 7 people in one day? And I'm like, I'm going to make it work. Why? Because I want everybody to enjoy my presence, to like me, to remember these things, to remember, oh, Keon, anytime I ask him to be there, he's there. Because when it comes to real estate, they're going to remember the same thing. Okay, well, when I asked him to do this, he was always there, which means he's going to be a good worker, which means I can hire him, which means I can refer him to other people. I trust him. I know how he is as a person. So just be good, be positive around other people, show them what you're like, so that when you actually do need them to refer you, they will. Everyone that I've had so far was all referrals. It was all referrals. Like, I need to learn how to prospect. Like, I have trainings on prospecting. Because when I do have to prospect, I want to know how to. Like, referrals are good, but it's not gonna build your career. I can't build my career based on referrals. Like, I need to have people that come to me as well, like, so I'm not saying don't do prospecting, do it for sure.
My guy,
but
I think definitely the mindset where you're at right now, that you've got such a great business going on, referrals, but you still want to make sure that there's the prospecting side, that kind of you're feeding your business with leads. Exactly. I think that's great. And what I do want to pinpoint is what seems to be your skill is a very high emotional intelligence. Like, there's the IQ and then there's the EQ. Mm-hmm. And real estate being a very relationship based business, I think you've been maxing out your EQ in it since you were 8, hanging out with people, making sure that they get to see the best side of you, making sure that you're there for them when they need you, and then in turn, when you got your license, it kind of all paid off the bat. So most people are gonna say, "Oh, you're kind of like an overnight success," but it doesn't seem to be like that from what you're explaining to me.
No.
You've kind of been picking at it ever since you were
Exactly.
pretty young.
Exactly.
So that's pretty interesting because most people kind of go into it. Let's face it, most people go into real estate to make the big bucks because they think it's Lamborghinis, big houses, and nice chicks.
Exactly.
But then they get into it and then they're on the phone 24 hours trying to make cold calls, people not interested at all.
Exactly.
It's not, nearly what you guys think of it.
No.
So the fact that you were able to kind of get into the business the way you did and be successful is even more impressive than just the fact that you've made 7 transactions off the bat.
Yeah.
So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
So in terms of new agents that are interested, that are hearing you talk, I think if I were hearing you talk, I'd be even more interested in going to real estate because, the opportunities kind of open up.
Yeah.
What would you kind of recommend to people that have not been, chipping at it since they were 8 years old? Do you recommend that, they go into, this is kind of a debate that's ongoing, but do you recommend they go work their sphere of influence first or start prospecting Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde, geographical leads?
Sphere of influence for sure, because the thing is you can go on YouTube or whatever and see people say, oh yeah, like I had 0 connection, I knew no one, I went to prospect, I used this script and it worked. But it's like at the end of the day, that same script, everybody's been using it, right? So it's like, 1, they're going to hear it and they're going to be like, no, they're going to drill you with questions. And 2, the majority, for example, of those things, those YouTube things are from the States. I don't want to say Montreal or Quebec is like rude, but like
but they're
in
rude.
the States, they're a lot more quick to like stay on the phone with you, let you talk a bit. In Montreal, they're just going to be like, no, je suis pas intéressé, va-t'en. Like they don't care, So I feel like the best thing to do, in my opinion, is work your sphere of influence. There's always going to be a friend that has a friend that's looking for a house, that's looking for this, that's looking for that. There's always going to be someone that needs real estate, whether it's a rental, whether it's buying, whether it's selling. And the thing is because you're new at it as well, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable with someone that when you're going through a transaction. So if it's someone that I know, they're looking for a house, okay, it's their first house, it's my first transaction, we're doing this together, and they understand that. As for if you're going with a new person that you prospected and you found, and okay, now you're looking with them, they don't know that you're new, and if they find out that you're new and you're helping them with their $500,000 house, they're gonna be like,
they might not be as inclined.
I don't want to be this guy's guinea pig, So it's like some people are more open to it, but some people aren't. But if it's someone that knows who you are and they know what you're capable of, they know that you're gonna double check everything with someone who has experience and everything, they trust you, then they won't mind going through that process with you, and you'll feel comfortable yourself. Like you don't want to be getting gray hair and everything already just because you're working with a new person. Might as well ask everyone, go through all your contacts, text everyone in your contacts, put it on your Instagram. I made a whole new Instagram page just for my real estate. I put my face out there, and literally just like that, I think in one day I had like 500 people follow me from my other Instagram, and I was like, wow, like it's amazing that 500 people followed me right away for my business. And I had, I think, over 120 shares of my picture. I posted the picture on my Instagram, my business one. 100 people, over 100 people put it on their stories. So all these people that trust me put it on their stories for other people to see it as well, which is how I gain even more people, because then people would say, oh, I'm looking for this. I just saw you on this person's page. Can you help me?
Definitely.
Sure. But it's like, if these people didn't like you, if these people didn't trust you, then they wouldn't share it. They would just like it. They would comment, congratulations, but they won't bring it anywhere else. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. That just kind of shows how much equity you have built in your relationships.
Yeah.
120 shares, it's a lot. It's a lot. Whoever you are in terms of, people taking your photo and then resharing it, it's a pretty big deal. And most people are not going to get there, du jour au lendemain, as they say. But that's interesting that you say, focus more on people, focus more on people that are more inclined to work with you because they already know, kind of your personality. And there's this big kind of barrier between people that don't know each other and then somebody that comes and asks for business.
Yeah.
I think the first reaction anybody has is defensive.
Yeah. It's like,
whereas
why?
then your friends might not be as defensive.
Exactly. They're going to say, why? Why should I trust you? My house is $900,000. You take 4 or 5%. That's $50,000. Why do I not know you? And why should you have to sell my house in 1 week and make $50,000? Why? And then you're gonna be like,
So
I don't really know why.
I'm trying to be a real estate agent.
You know?
Yes.
So it's like, I feel like, for example, me in my first like 2.5 months, like now I'm in my 3rd month. So in the first like 3, it was all people that I knew. All people that I knew that, or references that knew of me, but they still had an idea of who I was. It's only now in this 3rd month that it's starting to be people that I don't know. And it's because now the fact that I have transactions, I feel like I can kind of work with that. I can be like, yeah, I might be new, but I know what I'm doing. This is my backtrack. This is my story. This is what I do. This is how I market myself. This is how I market my properties. This is how I look for certain things for certain clients. This is my reaction. This is how I act, you know? Like, you just have to be very authentic with them. You can't be a robot. You can't be like, yes, I charge 4%. I charge 5%. That's it. That's all. You have to like tell them everything about yourself. No, I don't care about the money. I don't care about the money. Me, I'm just trying to build my business. I grew up in this area. I want to be in this area. So if you can give me the opportunity to list your house for this, and people, they have kids too, eh? They have an emotional side. So if you kind of have to play with their heads. If you appeal to them in a way where they can kind of relate to it and be like, like my son is going to have to go through this at one point. So maybe I should give this kid a try. You know what I mean? You kind of have to just like, not play with their heads, but get to like their soft spot. Yeah. Because some people will jab at you, and you just have to keep giving them a reaction, an answer. And then you start to see what type of person they are. And then once you just, okay, now I'm realizing, let me go around like a snake. Okay, I found this part that's touchy. Okay, let me focus on that. You know, okay, this one has 3 kids. He has 3 kids. The kids are going off to college. So then you say, yeah, I grew up here. I just finished university. And now I'm in real estate. I just want to make my parents proud. I want to be in the area. Make my parents proud. They're like, oh, my kids didn't want me. You know, do little things like that you wouldn't think would affect people, but it does. It does.
Bro, that's interesting because, you know, kind of when you put yourself in a client or a seller's position, it makes total sense. Even I wouldn't want to just give my house over to anybody and get him to have that commission. However, in the context where I'm helping somebody, you know, where I feel like somebody's genuine and I want to help them out in their business, whether they're just starting or not.
Yeah. And
if I'm confident in their ability to go find the information that they may not have right now and go find the expertise somewhere and, you know, kind of make sure the transaction goes great, I would be even more inclined to giving it to the underdog than to the person that's selling 100 listings a year.
When they're selling 100 listings a year, you have to just like you have to say, yeah, they're selling 100 listings a year, but most of the times those people, you're going to see them one time and you're not going to see them again.
Yeah.
You're going to have someone come take the picture. Are they going to be there when the person's taking the pictures? No. Okay, that's one thing. They're going to write a whole detailed thing about your house. Is it going to be them writing it or is it going to be their assistant, you know? Like it's a lot less personal when it's someone that has all of that time, like all of these listings, because they're not always there with you. So me, I say, yeah, you know what? He does have all this, but I'm just going to work 10 times harder because this is all that I have. You're just a number in his 100 listings. You're my only listing. So I can guarantee I'm going to put all my time possible into your one listing. You know, if I have to market with doing an open house, I'll do it in an open house. If I have to put it on Facebook and Instagram, I'll put it on Facebook and Instagram. If I have to put it on TikTok, I'll put it on TikTok. If I have to have someone come with a camera and videotape me walk around the house and talk about the house, I'll do that. If I have to have someone videotape my open house, put it on Facebook so that other people that are selling the house see the way I'm an open house and be like, I want that person to sell my house and do that same thing to my house. I'll do it. Like, I'll do literally anything that I can to make the client happy, you know? And it's like someone that's been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years, they're not going to do that. They don't care. Because at the end, they know at the end of the day, if you don't take that listing, if I don't get that listing, I'm going to get another one. You know what I mean? So you're not going to badmouth another agent because they're all very good. But is your transaction going to be more personal? Yeah. Because when he sells your house, he'll be like, okay, good. You're happy. You sold your house, you know? But when I sell your house, like, it's going to be a celebration because it's the first thing I sold, you know? And you're going to be happy because I'm happy too, you know? It's just altogether just a better situation. So I feel like if you just kind of open that up and break that down for all your clients and you're authentic with them and they see that, then it won't work with everyone, but it can work.
You sound like you've done this a million times. Like, just the way you said what you said, I would give you the listing, you know?
Yeah. I just play. I don't want to say play with people's head, but listen to when they speak and use everything that they say. If I go into a house, I had one offer that was accepted. The woman, I think the other people offered like, I don't even know if this is legal, but they offered like 10 or 15,000 over what our offer was. But I went to present the offer, and I remember her telling me, yeah, like her kids moved out. And I told her, I'm like, well, my family, they're coming from Montreal. I'm like, they have 2 kids. I'm like, the grandparents, the grandmother, she's gonna be moving in, so the bedroom on the main floor is perfect. And she was like, oh my goodness, when I moved into this house 30 years ago, I had the same story. My kids were that age. My mother-in-law moved in with us, and she had that first bedroom. And because of that, even though our offer was 15,000 less, she took our offer just because of the story.
Damn.
You know? So it's like, you listen to people, you talk to them, and some people, yeah, they are all about money. But some people, it's like, if they know that there's going to be a good family moving into their house, other than someone that'll most likely come get the house, break it down, build a new one or whatever, they're going to be more likely to go towards you.
Yeah, because people are they have an emotional link with their house, with their property. They've been living in it. They have all these experiences. So, when you say it, it's not surprising to be like, yeah, you know what, that would make sense. Somebody would want a nice family to go in instead of, just another $15,000. Maybe that could play a role. But I think that, most people don't realize that. Most people think, I'll just send over the offer. I'll just contact the listing agent. Yeah. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, we'll try to get something else.
Yeah.
But I think it's good that you take that extra step, and even if some people might think that extra step isn't as big as you think, just going yourself and introducing and proposing the offer.
Yeah.
The difference was huge.
Yeah.
You got the house for your client.
Yeah.
They got to sell their home and move on to their next project, and things moved on at the end of the day. So those little things at the end of the day, I think the more of what you're bringing in terms of, emotional selling with like a relationship based communication selling is the little things count at the end of the day.
Exactly.
The little things count, and when you sweat them, you make them really realize that you care for them, you care for their house, you care for their projects and their motivations.
Exactly.
So that's pretty interesting. And right now, I mean, you've done 7 transactions. You don't seem like you're slowing down. Do you have any objectives in the short term, medium term, long term that you'd want to mention?
Well, basically, I have the $1 million listing now. I did an open house with it. So with that open house, I had other clients call me. So I'm going to be going to their houses to do evaluations on their houses. Hopefully I get it. You never know. Knock on wood. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. But we're praying that I get them. So if I do, then I'll have like 2 new listings going on the market. So that's good. But for me, I think everything is just really more long term. You don't think of the short term. Yeah, you're going to make money off of commission, but you just have to basically be like, if you want to work in a certain area, like just try to build that area, even if it's gonna make you like not make as much money for say, like I don't even know how to say it, but just put your face like everywhere. I feel like, well, I don't even know how to say it.
In terms of branding, focus on branding instead of sales.
Not even the branding, because like I feel like a lot of people, this is the older mindset where they're gonna say, oh, you have to market yourself, and your marketing yourself is gonna be really, really expensive, right? That's what they all say. You have to put your face on a bus or a bus stop or this or that, but like you don't have to do that. Like I feel like you should just be different from every other agent and show it in your personality, show it in the way you work, and you just gotta have to find your niche, find what makes you stand out, and then double down on it. Yeah, and also there's certain things that I see a lot of people will be like, okay, example, like I'm Black, you're Arab. People will be like, oh, I'm gonna focus on the Black community, I'm gonna focus on the Arab community, but it's like, don't even do that. Focus on everybody, bro. Like make everyone like you, like, right now, like in Broussard, we're like the house, I've had a lot of Asian clients come and they told me like straight up, they're like, honestly, they're like, we don't normally talk to the agent unless they're Asian. Like they literally told me straight up, but they're like, they're like the way you are, they're like the way you talk about the property, they're like, you're such a nice person, you're fun, you're genuine to be around. They're like we really enjoy talking to you. They're like, thank you for that. But it's like, you see, like, that's probably because some people only focus on, like, I don't want to say their race, but they feel like if they target
what
their
they're
race,
comfortable with, maybe.
exactly. But it's like, just treat everyone the same. Everybody will like you, and then it's better because then you don't only have a black clientele or an Arab clientele. Then you have everybody liking you.
You open up the whole market.
Exactly, you know. But either than that, like, it's just like little tricks that I feel like work. I'm not gonna like be someone who's gonna keep all my tricks to like myself. Like, I'm not like that. I like to help people. Like, there's enough business in this world for all of us to be successful. So I'm not gonna keep little things that I do to myself. If it can help you, if it can help new people, new agents, like, bro, like, why not? Like, it's amazing, you know. Like, we all want to be successful. No one wants to be.
Everybody wants to be successful at the end of the day, and it's true when you say that there's business for everybody.
Yeah.
That kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? That scarcity mindset just brings you nowhere.
Like, I feel like if I'm gonna keep everything to myself, it's like, why am I gonna be like that? Like, I'm not the type of person. Like, I like to like share. I like to see other people succeed. I have friends that they want to go into real estate. They're like, bro, you gonna help me? I'm like, bro, of course. Like, I feel like I don't know that much. Like, I'm still learning every day. I still do trainings every day, like in the morning. Even if it's just 10, 15 minutes, like, I'll still do it. If before I call like a client calls me because they see my sign, I'll be like, okay, you called me because you see my sign. I'm gonna go on like YouTube and I'll be like, okay, how do I call back like this type of person? And I'll literally listen, okay, what do I do? What do I not do? Things I don't do. Like, for example, commission, like, never talk about your commission over the phone. I made that mistake. I fixed the mistake, but I made the mistake and I almost lost the property because of it. And I was literally shitting my pants. Bro, I was shitting my pants. When the guy called me back, I was I was running around my house. I'm not even kidding. I was running around my house with my phone. I think I called like 7 people saying, I got him, yes. Running around my house. Just because I said what my commission was. Because some people, they get afraid, right? When they hear how much commission you charge. So don't make that mistake. I made that mistake. I managed to fix it.
Do it face-to-face?
Face-to-face, always in person. Tell them, like, I'm flexible. You have to basically explain to them why you're charging that commission and what that commission entails. Like, everything you have to do. Because in their head, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you $40,000 and you sold my house in 1 week, you know? But you have to tell them everything you did to sell their house. All the documents that you have to fill out, all the paperwork you have to fill out. If you don't fill that out properly, it'll cost them thousands of dollars, you know? Like, even little things like, I have clients that they're going to put their house on the market, but they bought their house in 1999.
So basically what happened was I kind of lost some storage, it cut off, but no problem. We're just going to continue. He got a little bit hot, so he took off the jacket.
Yeah.
That's a little bit change of wardrobe. But yeah, you were talking about the client that in regards to the certificate of location.
Yeah. So basically I was saying even like little things like having a certificate of location. I had one client call me and they were like, yeah, they want to sell their house. Like, they were thinking about it, but they weren't exactly sure yet. And I was like, okay, no problem. I knew that they were the first owner, so I told them, I'm like, do you guys have a certificate of location? And they were like, no, we don't have that. I was like, okay, perfect. Call this person, get a certificate of location, because it's something that, example, in this market, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get it, right? Okay. So it's like, if you don't have that certificate of location, when you go to the notary, they don't sign over the house. They need the certificate of location to make sure that there was nothing that was done on the to the structure of the home. Mm-hmm. And basically, if you don't have that, either there's some notaries that'll literally just not sign, they won't sign it over, and then there's some notaries that'll make you sign I think it's called a title insurance. I'm not exactly sure, and it's like $300 to $500, so it'll cost your clients even more. So just a little call to just be like, okay, yeah, you want to do this, just a little heads up, get the certificate of location. Even if you don't sell your house now, it's valid for 10 years, so it's a good thing to have, you know. It's just a way to like kind of give them a bit of information without even meeting them, and them seeing that you're already thinking about saving them money even before you even have their house, even before, like, they might not even choose you, and you're already helping them, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it just looks good on your part, and it shows that you don't only think about the money, you're thinking about everything.
And that kind of just goes to show a little bit when you had mentioned previously, you know, why would a seller pay you $40K in commission for a week's worth of, you know, if you sell his home off the bat?
Yeah.
And that doesn't take into account all the expertise that went into that week, and that compared to maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months that would have gone through him selling it by himself.
Exactly.
Or with an agent that doesn't know his stuff as much, you know?
Selling them by himself, and even certain documents that they don't know how to fill out, that they don't know that they even have to fill out. That's why when people want to buy a property on Dupapio, they'll even still use an agent, because an agent will be like, okay, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And the for sale by owner is probably going to be like, oh, but je savais même pas qu'il fallait que je prends ça ou que je donne ça or whatever, you know. But it's like, if you didn't have that agent helping you, then that could have costed you money later on down, you know. And it's like, if you don't want to use the agent and potentially lose money, okay, well, it's your problem. Like, you're free to do what you want, but at the end of the day, we get paid that amount because of everything that we have to do. We're there to protect our client, right? Where it's like we're like basically we're like lawyers that walk around with them for days until they find their house or until they sell their house, and we help them fill out all the paperwork. It's like if you go to if you ran a stop sign, you're not gonna go to the court alone and be like, yeah, I didn't run the stop sign. The police is gonna be there, and he's gonna be like, yeah, you did. And then the guy's gonna be like, well, what do I have? You know, the lawyer you paid like freaking $5,000 for 5 minutes is gonna protect you, and he might win or he might reduce whatever you have. Right? It's the same thing with an agent.
I see what you're saying, man. Thank you so much for this. You mentioned that you had a YouTube channel. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. I actually stopped it around 3 months ago just because I started real estate. When I do something, I like to do it 100%. So until I 100% got everything for, not got everything, but once I start to learn everything about real estate and I'm kind of getting more established, then I'm going to start it back. And I was just doing pranks and challenges, so I'm going to continue to do that once I'm more established. So maybe in about a month or so, like, I'll get back into it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, it was a pleasure meeting you. I 100% agree with everybody that says that you're super cool guy, super fresh to be around with. Honestly, it was a very enjoyable conversation. I'm looking forward to working with you down the line. Hopefully, if you've got clients that match.
Yeah.
But do you want to kind of shout yourself out, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, phone number, email, anyway, anybody can contact you.
Yeah. So on Instagram and Facebook, it's Keon Johnson Real Estate. On my email, it's keon.johnson@remax-quebec.com. My YouTube is Keon Johnson, and my phone number is 514-296-9683.
All right. That's awesome, brother. Thank you.
No problem.